Hey guys, we've got some interesting stuff today. An open comb Wolfman Guerrilla. Don't see too many of those around. And so when this one came up for sale, I jumped on it. Zenith B23. As you can see, the hairs really tend to stick together in the center. I've had that soaking for a little while, so hopefully that'll help it to relax a bit. And inside of the Wolfman, I'm going to put a PolSilver blade. Hasn't been used too many times. And here's the new item today from that box, a mystery box that I purchased. And it's Talbot shaving. Sometimes Talbot is a really hard soap to get when it's a new release. This is a release done for a group called Box. It was a special limited edition a couple of years ago. And so the soap has managed to weave its way through a few different users maybe and found its way to me. I don't know what Box, the organization Box is, but River Rouge is has really promising scent notes. There is a cologne that it was patterned after, and I don't know the name. It's not one of those super popular ones like Aventus or Green Irish Tweed or Sauvage or something, but that will be in the description of the video if you're curious. There were notes of leather, a little bit of rum, woodiness, and something else that I usually enjoy. Tobacco, and maybe one other piece. Now this is probably about half or less, and so a lot of it has been used, and it hasn't been used in a while because we've got some of those. Usually those are potassium salts that are kind of making that white kind of build up on the top of the soap, and that's often very normal. I can smell the woodiness, a resinous type wood. A little bit of tobacco. The booziness is not really there too much, and since this was a soap that came out a couple of years ago, it's totally normal that some of the, especially the top notes, which are more volatile, are just not going to be able to hang around for that long. Performance, I'm sure, will be just fine. Let's give it a shot. And who knows, I have tried a few different Talbot soaps. Usually I manage to get them when they're like this, when they've been used up quite a bit, since they're so hard to get. Maybe when they start losing their potency, guys are willing to part with them. I've tried Valley of Fire, which is a very faint scent by the time I got a hold of it. I've tried, I think, 2 others, and the scents just didn't really agree. Double Trouble was one of them. The scents just weren't quite up my alley, so I had passed them on to other people, or I'm trying to pass them on to other people. All right, the PolSilver is going into the Wolfman, and the solid bar version was a notoriously mild razor that kind of shocked people a little bit, and I think a lot of people had said, hey, I got a Wolfman, because back then the wait list was so long. I got my hands on a Wolfman, and then they used it, and they were expecting something that was on the aggressive side, like most of the models of the WR1 that was available at the time. What they got was something that was quite mild. Well, here's the open comb. I haven't actually, it hasn't been as nice to me as the solid bar, which I usually find is strange. Usually I'm liking open combs quite a bit. So I'm just trying a bunch of different blades. I think I've tried about half a dozen blades. I've been a little surprised that it's been difficult to link up a really good shave with this razor, at least if my memory is serving me correctly. Let me get my face wet. Now, I'm not shaving with 24 hours of growth, and so in a way this is not a fair test. But hey, let's get back on the right track. Shave it at night, that sort of thing. Let's do a 40-second load since this is a soap that probably hasn't been touched in a while. This is also a brush that doesn't have quite as much splay, that sort of thing, as other brushes. All right. Yeah, 20 seconds is going to roll around right there. So we'll go to the 0 of the next minute. I just finished uploading a kind of a reference video for anybody who thinks it might help them. There was a comment on one of my recent videos where the user said, hey, I'm having trouble. I've got this dense knot that is not given, it's really eating lather. I'm just not, I don't know what I'm doing wrong that's not allowing this soap to load. And so I put together as many answers as I could, and I just created a video because I thought, you know what? I bet there are other people that are in a similar situation. So we did 40 seconds of loading. It's a very soupy looking situation here. Let's just do 10 more seconds. We'll go from 12 to 22. You know, just, that'll be a 50-second load. And this, there were only 20 of these soaps made. You know, today, why don't we, since I forgot to bring my 3D printed bowl, why don't we use a Dollar Tree Santa Fe bowl? It's got no texturing, it's smooth. Sometimes I enjoy the silence, the lack of that plastic sound that my nice favorite 3D bowl makes. This is also proof that, you know, you don't have to have some kind of fancy textured bowl to get a good lather. Yeah, those are some nice scents. I like that. Maybe I finally stumbled on a Talbot scent that I like. It's tricky because they rarely become available, so you sometimes have to be quick on the draw. Figure out the scents that you might like, and then if one becomes available, you just have to kind of say, yes, please. Now, just like my recent shave, I don't have my syringe, and so I'm not going to be able to provide water data this time. I also forgot all kinds of things. I forgot my mirror mount, and so I'm not able to show you the down view into the bowl like I have been doing lately. And this is a bowl that's available at the Dollar Tree. So if you don't want to spend $25, $40, $60 on some kind of specialized lather bowl, just give one of these guys a try. Look at that. Look at what we're building. Now, last time I shaved with this brush, it really told me that it was starting to relax. All the shaves prior to that, I think we're maybe at use number 16 now. All the shaves prior to that were very constrained and restrictive with the brush knot. It was, the tips were soft, but it really wasn't opening up very much. Just the backbone was very strong on the main parts of the shafts of the bristles. But last shave, maybe because I had it soaking for quite some time, I don't know, it started to really relax more. It's got a good ways to go, but it was noticeable. I could tell, hey, this is different. So as you can see, we've still got a good lather coming together. Oh, look at that. Look at that elasticity. That is nice. So what we're going to want to do is make sure that that is a well-mixed lather. If that's a sweet-looking, drippy, elastic piece of lather, and we want to make sure that what I showed you there and what dripped off the brush wasn't just some wet area. So let's give it a good mix for another 30 seconds or so, just to make sure everything's consistent, and then we can test it again. Now this brush has a long handle, but as you can see, I'm getting some good lather on my fingertips. And that's because this, for its width, it's a fairly deep bowl, and this soap is, the lather's climbing the walls and then getting on my fingers. And that's probably why I don't use this bowl a lot. In many ways, it's a really nice bowl, but it does get the lather on your fingers quite a bit. I can tell things are getting a little thicker and more consistent. But look at that. Look at that. Ha ha. Nice. What a stretch. Okay, that's kind of an obscene shape. So let's that was a long stretch. Look at that wall of light. Look at that, boys and girls. That is just a long, elastic, well-hydrated lather. Nice. Let's shave with that. Get my face wet. Wow. Just 20 of these made, right? For that, it was a specific request by a small group of people for a custom batch to be made. And then years later, it finds its way to me, who's never heard of that group of people. Now, I don't know if it was so successful that they made another batch, but that is what Rudd's reported. Rudd shaves, in case, I mean, if you're watching my channel, you've probably heard of Rudd's, because if you're watching shaving videos at all, he's just one of the most popular guys out there. Does a lot of straight shaving as well. Does a lot of reviews on the new soaps. He's so popular that the makers will send him soaps to review. Now you saw how elastic that was. But right now, the way this lather is behaving on my face makes me think it could take a little bit more water. Pretty cool, huh? So here's what I'll do. I'll dip my tips down in the water, then kind of add that to my face here. Not a super easy splay here. I'm really able to splay the first third of the bristles. Still maintaining a lot of that backbone. But it is really still young. What, 15 or 16 uses? Let's go get a little bit more water on those tips. There's some kind of part of this scent profile, and I guess the evaluation I'm doing here isn't really to help you make a good buying decision, right? Because if there aren't very many tubs out there, how likely is it that somebody's going to find their way to this video? But maybe there aren't any videos for this soap. So maybe this is just for posterity. Maybe somebody will find a River Rouge set soap and wonder, hey. And that's why I had to cite my reference from the Rudd's review, because there was not any information anywhere else. Try That Soap has a record for this soap, but all it has is the scent notes. I believe, and it may have actually not had anything. It could be that I got everything from the Rudd's page. Rudd's talked about the cologne, that it was a a dupe of, and at the time he had never tried that cologne, so he couldn't talk about the authenticity, the closeness to the original scent. But he talked about how it was, and the cap does mention Brobox, hashtag Brobox 18, BROBOX 18. So if you want to look that up, maybe there's still some online references out there if you're curious. I put a little bit more water into the lather, and while I let this first pass sit on my face and kind of absorb into my skin, yeah, this lather, man, what a great base. So I don't know enough about the succession and progression of Talbot soap bases. I don't know if this is version 2, which I'm sure it is. It's a very nice lather, it seems. I don't know if they have stuck with that now for a couple of years, or if they've moved on to version 3 or 4, or whatever. All right. PolSilver in the open comb. Ooh. Now we should expect this to be on the comfortable side, since I'm shaving with 3/4 of a day of growth instead of one whole day. But man, this might be the blade that makes this razor a real catch. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of feel. There's a little bit of tenuous nature to it, especially in my neck. I feel like I could definitely, with the wrong amount of pressure, give myself a cut. However, sometimes, as long as you're careful, what you end up with at the end of the shave is an amazingly close shave. So we'll just see how everything works out. With this razor, it is a brushed stainless steel razor. And the fact that it's brushed, microscopically, if you were to look, there are little grooves because it's not polished clean. It's brushed. And so you can hear it. If I move my fingernail up on it close to the microphone, you could hear a sound which indicates that something's causing my fingernail to vibrate. And that's those little ridges, tiny microscopic ridges. Well, guess what those ridges do when you're holding a wet razor? They help to maintain grip. And that was something that people looked at this razor when it was in a current production state, and they said, that's got to be too slippery. But all the people who reviewed it, they knew better. It's you can just hold on to it. Now, if it was polished, probably be a different story. Well, face feels pretty good. I did feel a little tenderness, which is what reminded me to mention, hey, this feels like maybe I could cut myself if I'm not careful. Everything else feels great, so let me rinse. The resinous wood is the strongest note here. And it's kind of leaning me toward a cedar or a pine, and I grew up with a bunch of pine trees in my yard. Oh yeah, there's the cedar. Maybe a little bit of leather. Do I smell any tobacco? Okay, maybe a hint if I put it in my brain that I'm looking for it, but you know the power of suggestion. Well, my load was looking really kind of wimpy on the brush at the time when I was working on the puck, and so I did spend an extra bit of time, a 50-second load, and I have tons of lather, so I don't guess I really needed to go that far, but that's okay. That's just tremendous. Look at that. Yeah, definitely a, cedar workshop kind of vibe with maybe some supporting hints of some of those other things, perhaps. I've got tons of lather, so I don't need to try to keep those medallions that have been landing on my shirt. And just need to lay it down. And to be honest, I kind of like this one. Cedar is often used in shaving soaps, and so many times it just smells like, at least to an American like me, it just smells like a pine wood shop or Home Depot. And that's not all that interesting to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's better than smelling like flowers. I bet this was a really good scent at the time, with maybe the rum notes. A little bit more of a tobacco note, perhaps. And if the leather were a little bit stronger. Well, there we go. That's 2 passes. And since I'm dealing with a face that was recently shaven, yeah, let's do a very light touch up and be very careful with my pressure. But so far this PolSilver is working pretty well. Not super smooth and comfortable like it might be if it was a solid bar base plate. Because I definitely am feeling, especially now, at the second pass, I'm feeling like, hey, there's some aggression here. And rinse. It hit me just now that I'm really kind of working with a discontinued shave. The blade seems to be discontinued, the PolSilver. The Wolfman Guerrilla is most probably not going to be brought back. And of course the Talbot was a limited edition, so it probably won't be coming back either. I did not see that as a common thread when I picked all the ingredients. I hadn't used a Boar in a while, and this one needs some uses, so I just picked it. And I was really curious about this soap, so I picked it. And I had not yet tried the PolSilver with the open comb Guerrilla, so I just kind of inadvertently picked a discontinued shave. So I guess this one's just kind of for the archive books, or for those of you who are just a little on the curious side. Now, if you worked really hard, kept your eye open, every once in a while, I have seen these open comb Guerrillas come out, but they're out there. They're just rare. Guarantee you there's more out there than 20 tubs of this River Rouge soap, right? Oh, and at the end, if I feel like it, I do have some Executive Man Balm over there, but if I feel like an alcohol splash, I've got some Triumph by Stirling, a scent that I'm a big fan of. I've got tons of lather in there. There's 3 or 4 passes still left in the bowl. I've got the 3rd pass on my face right now. Let's focus on a nice light touch so we don't cause irritation from over shaving, since I shaved. Let's do the math. I shaved at maybe 1 o'clock today, and now it's 3 a.m. So 14 hours later. And it's funny, you can, even on the 3rd pass, I can hear the stubble being cut. Now, with so many cool notes and oils and stuff in this soap that sometimes do cause people issues, I wouldn't be surprised if I had a little bit of redness due to the soap. Man, what a great soap. And with a soap like this coming out in 2018, I can see why people were really clamoring to get in on those drops. All right, well, it's a pleasure to use the Wolfman. A little edgy today. I'll keep playing around with some blades. Maybe I need to explore some of the blades that I don't often turn to. Maybe that could give it less of an edgy feel. Maybe some more, some smoothed out blades a little bit might be more suited for this razor. The open comb version at least. Try it out and see what happens. I will definitely give this soap a few more tries. The pine leanings and that resinous type of cedar leanings are not a great attractor to me and my brain and nose. However, they are far and above the other Talbot soaps that I've tried. So let's keep it around. Seems like a good mix. There are those other supporting notes might be what's keeping that the pure pine notes and the pure resinous wood notes from really tripping my triggers instantly. And so let's give it some more time. And we got another use now on the brush. It was, I could tell, yeah, I got lots of backbone, but as usual, the tips are still very soft. I got a comfortable shave, not too much brush burn or anything like that. So we'll rinse that off. This location does have hard water, so Talbot performs fine in hard water. I wonder what the current Talbot version is that they're using. Trying to spread these bristles out at the end of the shave is really tricky. They really have a certain direction that they like to go, and I don't have too many boars that are like this. I had a 30 millimeter whipped dog boar that was very, very similar. It wanted to focus the bristles in the center, and every time you would move one section to try to open it up, then another section might collapse, shift over the wrong way. I don't really know, and I'm not trying to spread them out to help to increase display the next time I use it. I'm spreading them out just to allow for good drying. And yeah, I believe I can tell more and more of the bristles are starting to come out on the outside, and that's encouraging as we keep using this guy. I think I may really enjoy him at about 50 uses or so as he slowly opens up, and then maybe as he opens up into a good spot, he'll keep that good spot longer than maybe other soft boar brushes like some of the Simogues. Maybe he'll keep that longer because of that tight backbone that he has. So I'm very interested to watch. My friend Buzz has one of these as well. He loves it, and so we're kind of on that journey together. He's ahead of me, and he's already at that good place with this brush where he's really enjoying it. This is also the handle that the other Zenith that I used, I believe it was yesterday, the silver tip. You can, the P10 I believe is the silver tip that I have, but there's another one that comes in this shape of handle with that same silver tip knot. And so this is the one I was referring to in that video. I love the shape of this handle. I've left a little bit of the residue on my face right now. I'm not getting any tightness or anything like that. Very happy with it. And now leaving a little bit of that rinse water on my face, let's throw some of the Triumph on there. And the fact that there's a little bit of water will help to dilute it, because for my face, I don't have a tough enough face to where Stirling doesn't sometimes with their aftershaves cause me some redness. Oh, what a great scent. A little bit of stinging, Tiny bit of stinging over there, maybe a little bit here. I'm going to just enjoy walking around with this scent before I go to bed. That is cool. And you know, this Sterling Triumph may actually be discontinued as well. I know it was offered as a seasonal. It may not be current either. So this could be a bunch of dead heroes on this shave. Well, there we go. Tremendous. Tremendous was right, because I just reviewed my kind of trouble spot here, and I got a great shave. Very happy, close shave. And that's great. If you get a little bit of tenderness due to the blade roughing you up just a tiny bit, it's always rewarding when at the end of the shave you look and go, wow, that was amazing. Closeness was just top notch. And so I could see how that tenderness might start to become associated with a feeling of satisfaction with such a good shave. So I could see that happening. And there, some guys out there, maybe that's why they like more aggressive razors, because they've made that association and they know that, hey, I'll put up with a little bit of rawness, just a little bit of rawness to end up with a shave that I want. Maybe that's some of the mentality out there. Oh man, that Triumph. Woo, that's good stuff. So many of you know that I use often a 3D printed bowl. It was a gift from the main designer. I helped him tweak a few things, but 95% of the design was his, and Roger Quintero. And I'm very grateful for the gift of that bowl to me, and I use it so many times. But it's also good to just use a normal bowl and show you that I got that amazing lather with $1. The shape is what's important. This bowl has a nice feature where it doesn't have a big flat patch at the bottom. The flat area, 1.5 inches or so before it starts to curve up. And that curve, I believe, is crucial in helping to make lather, because as those brush tips hit the curve, they start to flex. And when brush bristles flex, they have to flex against each other. And the more they rub against each other, the more lather is agitated. And I think that's just as good as having fancy ridges and things like that in your bowl. So that's the reason I chose this guy to have in my bathroom here. I've got a spare one of these just in case they go out of style with the Dollar Tree. But $1, really nice shave bowl. And I've got one viewer online, is it Danny, who has tried this very bowl and really enjoys it. So Danny, if I remembered correctly, if I remembered that you were the fan, I'm glad that I got it right for your sake. I don't think there's too much else to clean up. Man, there are just some aftershaves that really resonate with me, right? Maybe the same with you. It's fun to try some different ones, but every once in a while you hit one that you just enjoy. And every time as you're cleaning up stuff, or you hit another whiff of it, and it's just so nice, and you're reveling in it because it just works with you so well. You know, such a big fan. So I guess Triumph is one of those for me. All right, guys. Well, I sure hope that this little tour of discontinued items is going to be of help to you guys, maybe making lather, and maybe we got some good info here in this video about that. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I sure hope this is going to help you out. You take care. Good night.